You're listening to The Broken Meeple Show, a podcast that speaks passionately about board games for the benefit of those who play them. My name's Luke Hector, best known for the Broken Meeple YouTube channel, and I'm an everyday gamer just like you. And I'll be talking about reviews, top 10s, and just about anything that connects me to board games, as long as I have a tea or coffee in hand, that is. So grab a cup, relax, and enjoy. And remember, it's only a game. Hi everyone, Luke Hector here. Hopefully the volume's going to be a bit better on this one. I've had a little tinker with the microphone before this. I've done a little test run, so hopefully at this distance, this volume setting or whatever, the volume should not now burst your speakers or anything like that. So we're going to see how this gets on. But yeah, it's been a while. Sorry for the delay. I mean, there's just been a lot going on. You know, I had my cruise in the middle of June, and then, I was sick for like 2 weeks after that, on and off, and then my voice needed to recover. Then I was at Manorcon this weekend, which I'm going to talk about today. So there just hasn't really been a spare Sunday where I've either been in good health or available to do a Sunday podcast. So, and I've had to just kind of put it on hiatus for a bit. But yeah, normal service can resume from today. So generally health-wise, I'm fine now. I've recovered from all the bugs and the illnesses and the colds and God knows what else I had. And the weather has cooled a little bit, although I say cooled a little bit, it's still pretty humid, it's still pretty heat, and because I have to have the doors and windows shut while doing this, I'm going to be sweating a little bit while I'm in here, so I've got iced drink as well as my coffee to try and get me through. But otherwise, yeah, health-wise, I'm fine. The throat is mostly back to normal, but I think my throat's always just going to be one of those things where I've got to watch the voice and not overdo it, so that's the hope for the current bit. I've managed to do some videos fine, so it's not been too bad. I think it's just going to be a case of picking the times, because I mean at the moment it's the early morning of Sunday. Well, I say early morning, it's nearly 10 o'clock. I suppose not, but I tried to get up earlier. But the voice is a little better when it gets to the afternoon and evening. But, I need to get this done in the morning so that I can get it out and get on with my Sunday. Because Sunday is usually a time when I try to take 5 and enjoy myself, because I did a lot of video recording yesterday. In terms of the channel, the channel's been alright. I mean, there's not been a lot of content, as I say, because of the illnesses, but we're getting back up to speed now. So, 26284 on the subscribers. Thank you for still keeping up and subscribing whilst I've been away. But in terms of content, there's only been so much, but since the health update that I did, where, I mean, my health update gets more views than some of my review videos. I don't know what to kind of think about that, but thanks to everybody who did show their support and sort of wish me well and say, don't worry, we'll be here when you get back and stuff. So, cheers for that. It really helped. So since then, we've had the Emberleaf review. So from City of King Games, was it City of King Games? That was City of Games, sorry. And we've also had Nature, so the new sort of reiteration of Evolution with its big box sets that I've done a speed review for. We've also had a slightly less popular, but still fun to do, King Domino digital playthrough. Now, I am going to start doing these digital playthroughs. They're going to come up once every now and again, and it's just going to be me playing a digital Steam app or something and just sort of letting you know about it. So it is a playthrough after all. Not the most popular video in the world, but it's King Domino, so I don't think that many people are that desperate for it. But I hope they get a bit more popular with some of the games that I'm playing. The next one by popular demand will be Ark Nova. So when I do get round to being able to do that, I will do a playthrough of a typical sort of AI hard mode game against Ark Nova. Maybe I'll do it as a live stream. I would like to get back into some live streams, and live streams are a bit tricky with reviews and top 10s and stuff, but maybe rather than a Q&A, although maybe a Q&A might not be a bad idea, but something like maybe a live stream for these digital plays, because at the end of the day, you're watching me play a game and I'm just having a chat with you, so it's kind of like social time. So you can watch me play the game, but you can also ask questions about the game and just talk to me in general while I'm playing Ark Nova. So I might do it as a live stream, and I'll try and schedule it in advance and let you know. Although whether I'll be playing it on the laptop or on the PC kind of remains to be seen, because I have to be careful about recording system audio and stuff like that, so I might have to do some tinkering. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to start doing them, so if you're in favor of that, let me know, and Ark Nova will be the next one at some point. And then since then, also, I've literally just the other day, I finished the long review for Lufia. So Lufia has had a full review for multiplayer mode, solo mode, pros and cons, everything to let you know what I thought about that game. Not too bad of a start on views, but it could be better, so, let's push that up. That would be very much appreciated. In terms of what's in the works, I have 2 reviews ready to be edited. Pergola is a nice small speed review for that game from Rebel and Asmodee, but the one that I'll probably get out first is Vantage. Yeah, Vantage or Vantage, however you pronounce it, but yeah, I have done a full review of that, and mostly as a solo gamer, although I have played some multiplayer games of it as well. I have various things to say about it, pros and cons. You might be surprised by the ending of it, but that's one I will try to get done first, because I'm noticing a lot of people are putting out Vantage reviews on BGG, and some other people are putting them out on their YouTube channels, and I kind of need to not get left behind. And I know you want to know my thoughts before it goes out on retail, so so I will try and get the Vantage review done first this week and make that the primary one. It's going to be a full review. It's not going to be a speed review. This will be full pros and cons. I don't know how long the video will be. Probably in the region of 30-something minutes, because I'm not talking about a separate solo mode in this one. The game is basically being told while playing it solo, so it's not going to be a case than that. But yeah, those 2 are in the works. Other than that, the only game on my list is Popcorn. It's a game by Yellow Games that they've sent me. A small family weight game. Shouldn't take me too long to do a full a speed review of that one. So that one is in the works. But other than that, I don't think there is anything else on my list. So, once those are done, we might be able to get on with some other titles. Although, I am due, hopefully, if the Greece authorities release it anytime soon, to get the expansions for the Tigris games. I've got the big box for Arnak, which I've now unboxed and that, but I don't really want to do a video for the Arnak chest, because what's the point? After Gen Con, you won't be able to buy it again. It will be a limited release, and it's not really worth doing a video just for 2 boards. Well, a board with 2 maps on it. I mean, that's all that's really in the expansion, so it's more stuff. They're fine. I've played both boards. They're decent enough. If you want more content for, for Arnak, then by all means get it. I think the chest is very good, so the Arnak chest, I think, is a solid purchase, but that's kind of all I need to say about it, really, so there's not much else. What else has been delivered? Nothing else I think has been delivered, but when the Tigris expansions come through for the Garfield game, so Wayfarers, Scholars, and Inventors, I cannot wait to slot those in, so perhaps I will do some Beyond the Base Game videos for those, and I don't really want to do one video for all 3, so I think I'll be doing 1 video for each. That'll keep me busy, to just talk about the expansions briefly for the Tigris games. That would be quite cool. So yeah, that's kind of what's on the lineup. And, oh, my lovely drink with ice cubes. It's all needed. Not just to keep me cool, but to actually keep my throat in check. But yeah, so by all means, keep watching the videos. Let me know your comments, get the interaction up, and just, I think we're back to normal now. So normal surface has resumed. So thank you for waiting, and thank you for sticking with me. So, what to talk about today? Well, 2 things, really. Firstly, I want to talk about Manorcon. Manorcon's a convention that's been going on for God knows how many years. It's like ridiculous, probably 15, 20 years plus. And I haven't been to it since it started, but I went a couple of times during, when was it? Oh God, it would have been a few years ago, probably a good 5 or 6 years ago. And it used to be at Leicester University. Bear in mind, this is a UK con. And I like the con, not the venue. The venue had very hot and sticky student accommodation. It had, that wasn't particularly up to speed. You had to walk a fair distance in order to take your bags from your room or car to the actual venue site. It was dotted around in several rooms that weren't properly air conditioned. So in the hot weather, you just roasted, and it was just pretty horrible. And, the food was okay. Things were a little bit cramped. The venue was the bad part, but the con and people running it and that were all pretty sound. Well, some, buddies of mine have now started running Manorcon. They're now on the committee and kind of running the show. And they asked me if I wanted to come this year because they'd moved to Northampton University, which is what this big picture here is. This is one of the play areas that there was. So they've been very quick at getting that picture up. In fact, I wonder if I'm even in one of these tables. When was this taken? I don't know. I mean, I could be in a corner somewhere, or I could be on one of these, but to be honest, I was playing games in all sorts of places, so who knows if I'm in that one. But that was a typical one of the areas where you could play games. So they've now moved to Northampton University, and I thought, you know what? New people running it, new management, and new venue. Let's give it a try, especially as Northampton Uni shaves off a good half hour, 45 minutes from the journey, because it's about 20 minutes north of Milton Keynes. Now, Milton Keynes takes me about 2 and a bit hours to get to, so this one takes me about 2.5. But that is all dependent on the M25 and the M1, and everybody knows those are two of the worst motorways to drive on in the UK. Not just for your safety, but also for the fact that traffic jams seem to appear every 5 seconds. It's kind of problematic to use those roads. So the journey time to this venue is sketchy and unpredictable, to say the least, and it wasn't a particularly good journey up, I can tell you. But you know, it's still closer than Leicester Uni. So I thought, you know what, this is good enough. It runs from Friday afternoon to Monday afternoon. That does involve taking at least a day off work, 2 days off work to go to this con, which is a bit of a pain because you really don't want to take a half day off work and then try to get here. It's going to be problematic. But it's it's not too bad. I mean, if I'm willing to take the 2 days off, then this is a good con to go to. That's like the starting thing. So what is it? Well, it's a typical gaming con. So it took place last weekend. I was there for the whole time. You get tournaments, you get 18xx players, diplomacy, Blood on the Clock Tower if you are mad enough to play that game, secondhand game sale, board game retailer, the stuff you normally see at things like HandyCon and that. So there's no difference in terms of the content, really. And in terms of the people that are there, I mean, we are playing heavy Euro, so they've put a few examples on their website. But I mean, yes, I hosted a game of Hegemony. The person running it now was playing Darwin's Journey. I remember seeing that. There was plenty of games of Ark Nova. There was certainly a couple of Lacerda games being played. There was plenty of Galactic Cruise being played. But there was also family weight stuff. I played Pagola with a few people. There was Flashpoint Fire Rescue being played. Yeah, there was a few light games as well, so it's a good mixture of people, but definitely there was a fair amount of heavy Euro stuff being played. I mean, I played a game of SETI, I played a game of Ark Nova, I played a game of Mosaic, I played a game of Hegemony, obviously. I played my Scholars of the South Tigris, I played my Wayfarers of the South Tigris. So yeah, they get some pretty tough games there, but you could find some people to play lighter games as well. They got a pretty good website, actually, all things considered. I mean, it's, this is like the front page, so it's kind of a basic bit there. But then they do, I mean, you can already book for the 2026 event. I better sort that out at some point. But they got like the activities, FAQ, archives. So there you go. So, oh yeah, Rachel's a friend of mine, so she's now secretary. Graham Charlton, I play a lot of games with him, so he's in the committee. Leanne Weaver, I play games with her. So there's a few people that are pretty familiar on the committee themselves, and so they're a good bunch of people. There's Rachel and there's Graham there. So, all nice people running it. Usual code of contact event. So the venue itself, the on-site accommodation, you can either stay in a local hotel or you can stay in the halls of residence, or like I might do next year, maybe just stay off-site. I don't know what the Sunley Hotel was like. I heard mixed reviews of that, so maybe I'll try that next year. The halls of residence are hit and miss. There was a few mixed reports as about the quality of those, and let's face it, it's student on-site accommodation. I'm a bit biased because I went to Portsmouth University and because of the way the building was designed, it was a brand new building, so it was all nice and refurbished and everything. Well, not even refurbished, it was brand new. And the flats were in a certain arrangement, but it worked out that if you were in a flat that was on the end of the building rather than internally, and you also got a specific room that was on the corner of the building, your room was about 3 times the size, if not more, than other people's rooms. And I got really lucky and got one of those rooms, and there was no price difference. So I'm used to having a student room that is probably bigger than some people's normal bedrooms, as well as being, impeccably clean and ensuite, so private bathroom, desk, and open window, the works, and not too hot. Well, yeah, most student accommodation isn't like that. And Northampton Uni really needs to work on some of their student accommodation. It isn't particularly good. I mean, you can see all the signs of furniture busted. I mean, I had a bedside table where the top shelf was like this, and all the like dowels and that were worn away, like it had been eaten away or something. And obviously nobody has been in that room for ages and bothered to get a hammer and nails and sort it out. So there was that. But I also had the problem, and I don't know if this was the case with every room. I think it might have just been mine. But my extractor fan in my bathroom would not shut off. You know, because normally you close the door, you turn off the lights or something, and the thing would shut off after a while. This one didn't. It was on when I got there. It remained on the entire weekend. Doesn't matter if you shut the door, if you turn the light off, and even then you can only turn the light off in the room. You can't, you know, the light in the actual bathroom is motion censored. So something was keeping that fan on. And I can't imagine it's designed that way, because that would just be hell for a student. Luckily, though, I only had to be in the room every now and again, and with my relaxation music that I play on my phone whenever I go to sleep, I always play some like spa music, you know, like running water, trickling water, the stuff you get in spas when you're having a massage. I like having that music on when I go to sleep, because it conks me out long before the 30-minute sleep timer is up. So it's a good way for me to get to sleep. Well, even with the noise of that extractor fan, I was eventually able to kind of block it out as white noise, so I still got to sleep. So it wasn't too bad. That didn't really hurt me that much. But it does make me wonder. Also, the heat was a bit problematic in some of the areas. I mean, my room didn't face the sun, I don't think, so I actually had a reasonably cool room, all things considered, you know, up to a point, and good draft through the windows. But some of the rooms in that place, and particularly the internal hallways, when I was walking to get to the lifts, and this is potentially with a bag of games and stuff, I was slowly being casseroled. Like literally casseroled. You could basically put me on a little spindle and spin me around in about 10-15 minutes within those areas. You could eat me as a casserole chicken. It really was pretty hot and insane in there. So I might have got lucky this time round, but I don't know if I really feel the need to stay on there again. I mean, it's nice to be able to literally walk 2 seconds across the pathway to get to your room, but Northampton must have plenty of bed and breakfasts around and stuff like that. So I don't know. Next year I might try the Sunley Hotel and see if that's better. Maybe I will just get a B&B. That's cheap enough if I can find one of comparable price and just stay off site, because the parking here is pretty cheap. I mean, you have to pay parking each day. That is a problem. Most parking meters don't let you go past a day, but it's cheap. I mean, you pay £3 on the Friday, £1 on each of Saturday and Sunday, and £3 on Monday. So you're paying a total of £8 if you want to stay there the entire, like, 4 days in full. And even then, I don't think they check it very much. I mean, I'm not saying don't pay it, but I accidentally missed out the Saturday. You know, I just totally forgot to pay it. So far, I haven't had any repercussions for that, so I don't know exactly how diligent they are at checking the parking when it comes to a full event. So it would be interesting to know from other people what that was like, because, well, if you're not checking the parking, then why would people pay it? But still, £8 pretty cheap, so you have to pay that even if you're staying there. So if I stay off site in a little B&B somewhere and drive in each day, doesn't matter, I'm still getting £8 worth of parking. But relatively cheap. And honestly, a lot of the other stuff here was very cheap as well. The food and drink in particular, oh man. I mean, they've got like several, like the Market, Waterside Bar and Restaurant, a Morrison's Local on site. So you can get food, and it's not bad food. I mean, you've got a bar, and you've got effectively kind of like the university canteen. So you can get your juices, you can get your sandwiches and meal deals and stuff like that. And the bar has got a decent selection. Well, I say a decent selection. They had one good cider, and they ran out of it eventually. But they brought in some guest ales. Sadly, didn't taste very good, but at least they tried. And they had got other stuff on tap, and decent amount of food in there as well. This is a bad example because, trust me, you can get better meals than just a burger and chips there. But I found that, and other people found, that it was very reasonable in terms of its pricing, because this is a student site. So you can't have hotel prices on a student site. So the drinks and the food were really reasonably well priced. I mean, you could get my cider for £3.65, I think I was paying for it. £3.65. When do you ever get a pint of cider in a pub for that? It's kind of outside of Wetherspoons. I mean, that is pretty insane. The guest ales might have been like £4.50 maybe for a pint, but still, getting a pint for less than a fiver, is pretty good for a games convention, given that most of them are hosted in hotels that like to charge you £7 to get like a Coke. The blatant rip-offs they are. So that's already a good sign. There was water from a dispenser for free, so you could get that if you just needed water. You could get free coffee up to a point from the canteen, so that was good to fill up for the morning. But also, the canteen itself did half decent food. It had a breakfast. You know, you could get a basic full English breakfast and some yogurt and cereal and bits and bobs in the morning and coffee and that, so that was good. But you had to queue up for ages because it's not a self-service thing. So there was that. Hopefully they might fix that next year. But otherwise, just be a bit patient and get there early. But the thing I really liked was that their lunchtime meals, I mean, yeah, they weren't the most varied, but you could still get a meal of your choice. And I was able to get big jacket potato with cheese and beans and a decent helping of salad on the side. And this was a good sized jacket as well. So full plate worth of food, 2 toppings, jacket potato, salad. How much do you reckon it cost me? Nope, you're quite wrong. £4.75. That's all I paid for a jacket potato meal with 2 toppings and a full bit of salad. And I don't just mean like a tiny little bit of salad on the side. No, I mean a good chunk of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, red onion, you know, like decent, you know, reasonable salad to go with a good sized jacket. I mean, that was a full meal. I barely managed to finish it. Less than a fiver. That doesn't happen. I mean, how often do you pay £8 for a small jacket and a tiny bit of salad at a hotel? Paying £15 for a massive, for like a massive, no, £15 for a tiny, like, little spindle of curry and maybe a little nobule of naan bread on the side or something, maybe a few grains of white rice. Yeah, hotels can get stuffed. This is where you host your game conventions at student places with cheaper prices. So it made for, normally at hotels, I like to just eat snack food for the day and, you know, keep my costs low. Here, I mean, I eat a little bit of snack food. I bring trail mix and maybe the odd bit of fruit and that, but I was eating my lunchtimes here. Well, maybe not lunchtimes. I tend to eat like a king for breakfast, snack for the day, and then have a dinner. But I was eating my dinners here fine and keeping it quite cheap. It was just very reasonable. So hopefully that doesn't change because that is definitely a big selling point for this con. And as you can see, they've got like a list of drinks in that there. So, you know, they had their guest ales. Apple Shed Cider was the one I really liked. I really liked that cider. I thought that was good. So, all in all, pretty nice on that front. And other activities, I mean, you got a second-hand game sale, which was fairly small, but it did allow me to sell a few games on. So, hopefully people have enjoyed some of the games that I've had that I've had to review recently. They've moved on to new owners. Which, you know, recovers the funds so that I can spend it on getting other games for review. So it's, you know, it's all cyclical, you know, when it comes to this thing. You know, you buy a game so you can review it, then you move it on, and then you use the funds to get another game for review, and then you rinse and repeat unless you keep the game, in which case, happy days. But yeah, there's, you know, a few little things like treasure hunt and pop quiz. But all in all, this is a solid con. I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if they've got any more pictures. Yes, here they go. So this is a bit better. So okay, so we got the main bar here. All right, so this is the canteen area, so you can get your coffees and stuff like that. You know, this is where we eat breakfast. This was the owl's nest, so you could basically sit. Now, oval tables I know are a bit of a faux pas when it comes to gaming, but these are reasonable size oval tables, and as long as your game isn't a particular hog, you should be fine. I mean, I played several games on these, including Hegemony, and we played Arnak on here, so you can get some half-decent games on there. I just decided not to use it for Wayfarers of the South Tigers. But this is a nice area, because the advantage with the area that you can see in the background here, which was the previous photo, and this, is that it's a big open area. It's open ventilation, stuff like that. So this was the coolest areas in terms of dealing with the heat. And the heat wasn't too bad. It was 28 degrees on Friday, which was hell. But then it got hot and humid on the next 2 days because of the storms. And the humidity was a little bit tricky to deal with. Not a lot they can really do about that. But we managed to survive the Friday by being in these areas. And the other 2 days weren't too bad either. So it kind of worked nicely in that fact. What else we got? So that was the photo I sent in a moment. So that's like kind of in the back behind that owl's nest area, but that was a good area. Oh, there you go. So yeah, the front desk, this area. So as you can see, this is like just a bit of that area, and it's big. It's tall ceilings and that. So there's plenty of air circulation. Much more comfortable than Leicester by a country mile. There's some dude here, don't recognize him, I don't know, you tell me who he is, playing some game that I've never heard of. Yeah, actually, was that Slay the Spire? Oh, I guess that was a fun day. Oh yeah, that is Slay the Spire. Didn't like the video game, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like the deck building game either. Paul wouldn't show me any of his games though. I was I was a little bit heartbroken. I wanted to play Sanctuary. He had the spin-off from Ark Nova. I really wanted to try that. Saw it in his bag. Didn't actually get to play it though. Sad face. I know it's nothing like Ark Nova. It's just using the same artwork and stuff, but I still want to play it. Although we do have a running joke at the moment that any time Paul comes up with a game saying who's interested in this one, anytime I respond, he just goes, "You won't like it." So, which is fair enough. I bring that on myself, but I don't know. It's he was there doing a few games. So, yep, the Owl's Nest from a different perspective. Actually, am I in any of these photos? I wonder. Can I see myself? No. I think they've conveniently got me where... Oh, actually, I don't know. Am I in one of these? No. Nope, meanie. Didn't get me any photos. How dare you. Maybe in this one? Nope. Oh, wait, there I am there. Am I in the other one as well? No, they took these at different times, but I'm in that photo. Hey, there you go. There's the ugly boy there. This must have been on the Friday, because I'm not in my Broken Meeple t-shirt. But I was going to talk about this game in a minute. Actually, Endeavour Deep Sea. So, yeah, I was playing that there. So, yay, happy days. Secondhand game library, so not huge, but fine. This is one of the side rooms. Very big, round, sort of hexagon table. So this is good for playing your table hogs on. Bit hotter in that room, but not too bad. This one, yep. This one, is that the same room? It's either the same room from a different angle or it's room 14. There was another one for 18xx players. Oh, yeah, here you go. Here was like the 18xxers. Look at them. Look at them playing so quietly on their train games with their lack of art. And you could even use the canteen to play some games. So these actually proved to be some useful bits. And it wasn't too difficult to find a table to play if you just knew where to look. So you could even play in the bar as well. I mean, they're playing Power Grid, so yeah, it's not all good here. But they're still, able to play games in the bar next to the drinks and that. So, games organizer and everything else. I mean, I need to get on with other stuff on this podcast, so I think I'll end it there. But yeah, this was just a really solid con. I thought it was well run. I thought the accommodation things aside, and that's probably it. The only blemishes that I really had were mostly university related. And it's mostly the accommodation, and you kind of get what you paid for when it comes to student accommodation. I can rectify that. But the tables, fine. We could stand to have a few more, and I think they will be a little bit of extra space next year, so we'll up the capacity. But the temperature was good. Given that I had to deal with high humidity and high temperatures, I thought it managed pretty well. Hopefully next year it won't take place during a heat wave or a massive storm, but I think in typical summer temperatures, I think it would be quite fine there. Good food and drink, that's pretty cheap. Good range of games, an organizer if you want to use it. I probably do recommend using the organizer more often, but you can still put up looking for group games there and hope that somebody wanders by, but a lot of people do come here kind of pre-planned or with their group of friends, so the organizer might be worth using. But yeah, I mean, I just generally pretty much enjoyed this one. I thought this was a solid con all round, really. Not a lot of things to really suggest for improvement. I mean, most of the things that I could think of would be nitpicks, and I think they're already been catered for anyway from what I've heard from them. So they could do with figuring out whether the car parking could be done for the whole weekend rather than having to do it each day. That's kind of annoying. Obviously the accommodation is more of a university thing, but other than that, and maybe to sort out a way of not having a massive queue for breakfast, having some self-service options, that would be quite cool. But yeah, that's kind of it. The con's really good. I recommend going to it. So, what's it say about the 2026 event? 17th of July to the 20th of July, 2026, the 42nd Manorcon, Northampton venue, and more details to come. Well, I'll be there next year, so hopefully I'll see you there. Right. Briefly, let's talk about Endeavour Deep Sea. This is one of the games I played there, and, I don't want to go too much into detail about the games I played there. I mean, what did I also play? I played 2 games of Arnak. Did I play 2 games of Arnak? Yeah, 2 games of Lost Ruins of Arnak, one of which with the Spider Temple, so that was pretty good fun. Played this, I'm going to talk about it now because it's a new game. Played Hegemony, another fun game, dominated as the working class, absolutely decimated them. Probably got away with murder at one stage of the game, where I think I should have been reeled back by some people, and I know the capitalist was trying to do that, but he couldn't convince the other two to follow through. But I think we overestimated how well the capitalist was going to do, because he had one point where the IMF reset things with the state to mostly a C category thing. So I thought, I am doomed. There is no way I'm going to pull this back with everything so expensive and low wages. But we managed to shift things back, and, people started going up against the capitalist a bit, enough for me to kind of sneak around and do my own thing. So by the time they realised what was going on, they couldn't keep up with my prosperity VPs. It was just too much. So yeah, that was a good fun game. Played Mosaic, which is good to get my second play of it. I enjoyed it more the second time round. This was a 5-player game, so I think actually I would play Mosaic a bit more often. Can Mosaic be played solo? Good question. Mosaic. Is that how you pronounce it? Mosaic. Story of Civilization. Here we go. And one thing I'll say about this is the retail box. Buy the retail box. Forget the Colossal Edition. It's a waste of money. The Colossal Edition may have fancy looking miniatures and some metal coins and stuff like that. You don't need it. It is so much easier to tell what is visually going on the board with the cardboard tokens that have the name of the building on them. So you know it's a city, you know it's a farm town, and it makes the setup a little bit quicker. Not by tons. You still have to do this annoying trade token thing with the setup. But I think for the cost and the box size, I think you're much better just buying Mosaic retail. I mean, certainly if I ever get the game in the future, I will aim for that. But what was I going to say about Mosaic? Oh, yes. Is it a solo game? 2 to 6, best with 4. Yes, I kind of agree with that. It doesn't look like you can play it solo, though. And yeah, like I say, Mosaic's not a perfect game. It still has some issues, but I quite like, most of it. Solo with WD. Okay, solo WD. Okay, so basically people may have made fan-made variants for it, but it doesn't look like there's an official solo mode. That's a kind of a shame. Well, can't be helped. So, some cool games all round. But I want to talk briefly about Endeavour Deep Sea. This one, I think, won the Kenner Spiel recently. I wonder if that's updated on Board Game Geek. See full credits. Designers, solo designer, publishers. Nope, it doesn't say it on there. Usually it has the awards on here when it wins it. Here we go. Yeah, so 2025 Kenner Spiel winner. So this one won it, and I was like, really? I don't know, because I didn't particularly like the original Endeavour game. It was okay, but I just found it super dry, a bit long for what it was, and just kind of boring. It just didn't really... It was like, oh, look, here's another Euro. Well, somebody was willing to teach Deep Sea, and I wanted to try this one out to see if a streamlined version of Endeavour would be more appealing. Certainly, it does have some very dry aspects. I mean, this whole, impact the environment thing, which just has you put cubes on a track, and when you put cubes on at certain stages, you might get more points than others, or something. It doesn't make any sense thematically, but it's like, yeah, whatever. And these objectives, have certain symbols and things like that. Regardless of the name, it just gives you random bonuses. So, I mean, this one is still dry as a bone as well. But I found myself enjoying this one a bit. So, you have these little subs. You move around on these, like, cards or tiles for the different locations. And they're vastly different, as you can see. But you have, effectively, like, these different missions that change the setup and some of the goals that score you points. And I'm talking competitive here. We didn't do co-op. I don't know why I'd want to play this co-op, really. But, the mission 1 is not the best mission to do. It's all right to learn the game, but you can achieve everything and then some in mission 1. You need to play the later missions to make the game a bit more tougher. So, mission 1 I just thought was a bit too loose. But it was a tutorial game, so what the hell. It did its job. But you get these characters with little skill icons that enable you to do various skills, but you've only got so many markers that you can activate them with. And then you can only recall so many of them in a round. But this player board here, if I can get a better picture of the player board, that would be amazing. Come on, work with me here. Look, oh, for God's sake. Every time these people do like fancy Instagram photos now, they always take pictures of, I mean, these are good, these nice little pictures of the tiles that you can go on. But they always seem to just take pictures of the stuff you don't need pictures of. I mean, would it kill somebody to take a picture of the freaking player board? Seriously, nobody's taken... Alright, finally, someone took a picture of a player board. But basically, you've got these 4 tracks you level up, and it dictates like the level of characters you can get, how many how many action markers you generate, how many you can recall, how deep your sub can go, how many subs you can have, and effectively what you're doing is utilizing the little characters that you've got to do actions on these different sea tiles where your subs are, but they're vastly different. They've got different little quirks, different things. Some of them give you dive tokens, some of them don't. Some of them allow you to put conservation markers down, but you need DNA as another resource to do it, and not all the tiles do, and you can only go so deep because you have to level up your sub in order to do that. It's a pretty neat little system here, and I found myself enjoying it. The rules are very straightforward for anybody who's played a typical Euro. It's fairly streamlined. I didn't think anything was particularly clunky in this one. There's a decent amount of like, oh, I want to go here first, I want to go here first. It's not so much area control. It's more just I'm taking up a spot. So, I mean, I guess there's a little area control aspect, but it's no different from Endeavour. It's kind of like a I got there first deal. But there's also a little bit of pseudo cooperation, a bit like Viscounts, where if you put markers down, there's a little chain link in between certain bits, and both players get the chain link bonus. So it's a bit like Viscounts in that respect. But yeah, this is not bad. I mean, there's only so much variety in the characters, but there's a good amount of variety in all the like different like sea tiles that you can get, and on these different missions with gold cards and stuff. So it's got a bit of legs. I can see why this one got nominated. I can see kind of why it won. I mean, there wasn't much competition for it, let's be honest. But, I mean, yeah, I could see this one being at least a nomination. I'd have to play it more to see if I would consider it a winner. But I found it smooth. I found it fun. It's dry as a bone, and some of the bits are purely mechanical. Mission 1 is definitely not one I'll ever play again. But I would be interested to try this one again. And I was, kind of, was I impressed? I guess sort of impressed. I mean, the original one I found a little bit dull, but this one I found perfectly fine. Yeah, I found this one quite good. I would like to try it again, but with a different mission. One of the more interesting missions. That would be nice. Okay, right. What are we up to now on the recording? Ooh. Everything's going weird. Where's my StreamYard? There it is. How much time have we been recording? I can't even see a timer. Where's the timer? I can't see how long. Oh, there it is. 37 minutes. Okay. My throat is going a little bit early today. It must be the humidity. So we won't spend too long on this. Basically, the Essen Preview has been released for 2025. Now, I will be going to Essen. Full works. Whole time, Tuesday through to Monday. And I should be, it hasn't been finalised, but I have been asked, and I have accepted, to go back and help out Dranda Games again. So last time I was doing Jackpot at the Games Expo. Hopefully I'll be allowed to demo more than just Jackpot this time round. I mean, I can demo Galactic Cruise, I can demo Explorers in Navoria, maybe one of their newer games or something, but I have a feeling I'll certainly be showcasing Jackpot, that small game, which is neat little game, but it's, I want to be demoing more than just that for the whole weekend, for the whole week. But they're a good bunch, and, they're going to be staying somewhere quite convenient, location-wise. It saves me money by, helping out a publisher because it helps with accommodation, and I just need to commit 18-odd hours over the course of the week, so I'll have to balance that with demos that I want to play, and also all the meetings I'm going to have with various publishers, so we shall have to see what I can do on that front. And you play games in the evening anyway, so there's always time to do stuff there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Essen. I think Essen will be pretty sweet this year. Hopefully I can get them back without COVID or some other massive illness. Something I need to invest in, actually, though. I wonder if my audio file mate can help me. It would help me with this at the moment. Is that last time I remember going to an Essen where somebody had a little audio like receiver on their belt with a cable and a microphone underneath their mouth, and it meant that their voice was amplified when they were doing demos. That seemed like a good idea, and I'm going to see if I can get one of those for Essen, because your voice will go otherwise shouting above all the noise. Well, and especially if we're going to be in Hall 3, there's going to be a lot of noise. But I would be interested to see if I can get one of those little microphone boxes. It might just help. Anyway, the preview list has come out, and it's a bit early for me to be planning that much for Essen. I mean, we're at the end of July. We've still got August and September and most of October yet, because it's at the end of October to deal with Essen, so I'm not exactly in a rush to talk about the games. I'll plan out my entire thing already. But the preview list has come out, so I figured we'd just look at some of the ones that are hot thumbed at the moment, and I'll just give some brief thoughts as I go. Like, literally looking at this for the first time, I have seen no more than these two on the screen, and I'll just give some initial thoughts and see which ones kink my interest. You're going through this at the same time as I am. But certainly I need to think about getting some interviews in, more meetings in with the various publishers, because that's primarily how I get my review copies, is by going to those meetings. So we'll have to hope. And also, helping out Dranda Games might mean that I might be able to park underneath the centre rather than in the press area. That could be a good thing, because if you can park in the car park where the publishers tend to go, you're underneath the Hall 3. Which means you can go up one of the little side staircases to get into Hall 3. You don't have to come out all the way and go in through the front entrance. And I remember in the 1 year I was able to do that when I was helping out with Greater Than Games. You cannot begin to imagine how convenient it is to be able to take your games down that staircase into your car via Hall 3. The convenience is beyond measure, because normally I have to go all the way out through the main halls, through Hall 7, through Hall 8, to the main entrance to drop stuff in the car. That takes ages. It's a lot of walking. Yes, you can leave some stuff at the booth, but only so much, and if your name's Paul Grogan, that ain't feasible. If your name's Luke Hector, it's still pretty annoying. So it's kind of, it works like that. So a little swig of cold drink. Swig of my morning coffee, because I don't want that to get cold. In fact, I might take the lid on that one. These coffee mugs are great. What's it? Hang on, let me show the thing. Yeah, so I use these Contigo mugs or something. You can get them off like Amazon, I think, for like a tenner or 12 quid or something like that. Or you can actually, better still, I think you can actually go to Asda and just buy these direct for like less than a tenner or something like that. But they're really great. I use these. They've got a very good seal. I mean, I can literally, you know, just drink the little liquid that's on there or something. But I can literally just go. There you go. It's upside down. It's not spilling a drop. Not spilling a drop, because I'd be scalding my hand right now if it did. Obviously, don't try to do that too often. But yeah, these are good. They keep it hot for ages. I love using these. They're very convenient. This is why you see me with one of these at every game convention now. Anyway, why am I talking about coffee mugs? I'm supposed to be talking about games. So let's load up the preview list and talk about this. So, hottest fun game is something called Recall. Never heard of this game, although the cover is pretty good. Giant eyeball. I recognize those designers though. Dr. O, whatever it is, Helga Messner, Christian Amundsen Osby, Svensson. This is, I'm going to bet money, because this is not sorted by publisher, this is sorted by Fot Funds, but I'm betting that this is, what do they call, the same people who did Revive. No, it's Allion, it's not. Oh, it's from the designers of Revive. I knew it gave off that kind of Revive vibe, but it's not the same publisher. Okay, fine. So, what does this publisher do? All sorts of weird stuff. Okay, but fine. It's oh, I see. It's run by the same. It's run by, I think, one of the people. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, they've done stuff like Santa Maria Escape and the co-founder of Aporta Games. Yes, I know. So that means that Board Game Ramblings is going to be getting this game pretty much on speed dial, I should imagine, because I would not be surprised if the two of them are best friends, because Board Game Ramblings are always reviewing everything by Aporta Games and love everything they do. But let's have a look. Recall. So I like the cover. That cover is pretty good, a giant eyeball. But how am I mean, that cover looks really cool, right? Why do I have a suspicion that the rest of the game is going to look a bit dry and is going to be bone dry as anything? Because remember what Revive was? Check out my review for that. I thought it was average, above average, but that was about it. It was a bit overhyped, that one. All right, well, let's have a look. All right, so explore lands, learn from civilizations with meeples and tokens, customize your abilities, highly varied gameplay. All right, that's kind of standard. Oh, okay, I stand corrected. I mean, that is a nice looking board. A little bit clustered with all the pieces everywhere, but relatively clean. This looks a bit simpler than Revive. Revive definitely looked a bit more complicated. Although, I say, if this is your player board, then that's quite a lot of stuff going on there. Okay, so I mean, this is going to be some pretty much, I suspect, a bone-dry Euro with a pasted theme that's going to have some interesting mechanics. Because Revive had some interesting mechanics to it. It was just, it had problems in other departments. But, so what have we got here? Deep strategy game, engine building exploration, 14 unique tribes and one of 18 unique gadgets. Okay, well, I mean, that's good for variety. Decent setup mode. Asymmetry. Lead your tribe, explore the lands. So, use a key card to activate an action box. Recall, so it's the classic do an action or recall everything. We've seen this quite a few times. 3 times during the game, players must choose one of 2 paths, with the chosen path providing an immediate bonus as well as boosting one of the endgame scoring. Okay. What was this? By using the optional digital companion website, players can archive their tribes at the end of the game, therefore making their tribes discoverable as ancient civs in other players' games. That sounds a bit like a gimmick, but that's an interesting idea, and I do like to reward innovation when I see it, so that is something interesting, even if it is just a side gimmick. Alright, well, not much else to say about that one. I mean, okay, it's interesting, but I think I can see why this one is hot-thumbed, because as soon as it mentioned from the designers of Revive, all the heavy Eurogamers are going absolutely mad for it. I mean, this is definitely the screaming foaming guy from Avatar Airbender. So, that meme. It's definitely like that. They're going to be frothing at the mouth for this thing, which... maybe it'll be justified. I'll certainly try to get a copy and play it, but I can pretty much guarantee that this one won't be something I guess is a review copy. Because let's face it, I was never able to get a review copy out of a porter in the past either. So this will be one that I'll have to spend some money on. Thanks for the patrons for that, to get this one reviewed. Because I'm pretty sure all the patrons are going to be demanding I review this one. Okay, well, okay. Next hottest, well, I'm not surprised. SETI Space Agencies, the expansion for SETI. Do you have any doubt that I am going to beeline for this the second I see it? I mean, if I'm lucky, I'll be... Well, actually, it won't matter if I can get a copy before the show starts at the press event, because I won't have SETI the game to play it with. Maybe somebody else will take their copy of SETI along and we can mix it in with that, but I'm not taking my copy along. Well, maybe I could. Maybe I could, just so that I could mix it into the game immediately and then play it in the evening. I don't know, we'll see. But I don't usually like to take my own games to Essen. I've got to take enough back. But, yeah, it's the expansion for SETI. So you've got 3 new aliens, of which I only know brief details about one. Not going to say, because I know people don't want spoilers. And even then, I don't know that much about it. But now you've got... 40 more project cards. You've got, that can just seamlessly go in. You can have an institution for asymmetric abilities. You've got quick start cards, which is a bit like Prelude for SETI. So you skip the slower opening round and just dive straight in, which is even more asymmetry. A new mechanism that enhances scanning efficiency, because some people aren't, the scanning is probably the weak aspect of the game in terms of its main mechanism, so anything that it does for that is all good. I mean, everything about this expansion is just screaming gold dust. Of course I want it. I'm going to grab it. Okay, Ada's Dream. Okay, Ada's Dream. So this is one from Alley Cat Games, and I can't remember. There was a reason it couldn't come to Kickstarter. I forget what it was. So I think all they're doing is just releasing a few copies in... like Essen, perhaps. So I can't remember what the deal is with this one, although again, people who do previews have done previews. I mean, this is the thing, Board Games in a Minute, Sarah does previews, and Board Game Ramblings, I mean, they do previews all the time. I mean, they're basically a preview channel now. That's kind of what they do. But I don't do previews. At least very rarely do I do previews. I'm very picky about previews. I might be doing some preview work on Don't Starve, though. The ones from... Who's doing it? Is it Glass Cannon that's doing Don't Starve? Or is it... it's not Awakened Realms. I think it might be Glass Cannon that's doing Don't Starve. But I could be wrong. But either way, I should maybe be doing some preview work for Don't Starve. And that's because I enjoyed the game Don't Starve together on the PC. So naturally, I was interested in this game. So I might be doing some preview work for that. But typically, I don't. Anyway, I digress. Ada's Dream. I demoed this at the Expo when it came out. And I was actually quite Impressed. I mean, it is a dry game through and through. It's definitely that. But I like this dice manipulation with this cog machine here that lets you do the actions. The 4 segments are kind of like their own little mini game in a sense, but you've got these cards that you acquire with that. You get more powerful cards that do better actions. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Newton, with the sort of like, you've got the map aspect and then you've got the book aspect and you've got this aspect and whatever. Same sort of thing here, except what you do with the dice and what color dice and everything dictates what sort of actions you can do. You've got your player board to, you know, put cog like markers in to unlock like different endgame scoring bonuses. I, for one, was actually quite impressed with this one. I mean, for a dry Euro, I thought the mechanics in this were good fun, not too complicated, and allowed for a nice bit of variety and kind of just tickled some of the stuff I like to see in these kind of games, where you got a lot of options, different ways to play, upgradable action cards. That means that you can get more powerful stuff, you know, unique paths to victory, and I thought this cog little mechanism for like tailoring your endgame scoring I thought was pretty cool as well. So I was overall quite impressed with this from a demo perspective. I still need to play it fully before I can really give a full view on it, but I liked it. I liked it when I demoed it, and if it is going to be sold at Essen, I can only imagine it's going to have not many copies, so I might have to have a chat with Cesar from Alley Cat Games about that. But if I can get a copy of this, I will certainly try to. It looks pretty sweet, at least from initial impressions. And Alley Cat Games are starting to bring out some interesting stuff lately. I mean, they don't always bring out a smash hit. I mean, let's have a look. Kind of like their recent stuff. Can I organize this in date order? I don't know. How do you sort this? Sort, add to, subscribe, share. Yeah, BGG really does need some better, like sorting things on here. Either that or I'm just missing it. But yeah, Ada's Dream, Arborea, really quite a cool game. Not one I would probably own, but my friends have it and we play it now and again. I thought it was quite cool. Autobahn, a fine game, just a bit clustered. Baghdad, another one that will be coming out maybe later this year as well. Light, dry as a bone, but it's got the Viscount's card mechanism in it, which I thought was quite cool. And it was, I played a full game of it. It's, like I say, it's a dry, light Euro, but it's dry and it's light. So it's, if it's a light game, I can deal with it a bit more. And I enjoyed it as well. So, that could be quite cool. Wasn't the biggest fan of Kalimala. My friends liked that one more than I did. What else we got? Chocolate Factory and the Dice Games. I mean, they were ages ago. I'm trying to find some of their other recent stuff. Where's the one that I... Yeah, hang on. Where's Beaver Town? I was going to say Beaver Town. I know I did that one. Dice Theme Parties. Magic Rabbit. Where's Beaver Town? Why is Beaver Town not on here? Or did I just miss it? Yeah, I can't find Beaver thing on here. Where's Beaver Town? Beaver. Beaver. I can't... Where's my copy of the game? I think it's downstairs. Is it called Beaver something? Or is it called something else? I can't remember. Is it Beaver? But that's going to do my head in now. I got to find out before I go any further. Beaver. I swear it was an Alley Cat game. But was it called something else? Pier, Rome in the Day. Rome in the Day was a good little filler as well. Station to Station actually impressed me more than I thought. Oh, Timber Town. It's called Timber Town. It's not called Beaver Town. All right, fine. But yeah, Timber Town, I gave a 9 out of 10. I mean, that was a really good, solid little 2-player game. Very simple, very cool, very well produced. It was a nice little game. Station to Station, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. Rome in the Day. So the point, Tinder's Trail I wasn't as big a fan of. But then that probably wouldn't have been my kind of game. So, I mean, Alley Cat put some interesting stuff out. Anyway, I digress. What's this? Orloj. ORLOJ. The Prague Astronomical Clock. Okay, well, 10 out of 10 for unique title, I'll give you that. But what the hell is the Prague Astronomical Clock? I have never been to Prague, and I'm not a historical expert, so what's this? Become part of Prague's legacy by assembling the majestic and intricate Orloj. Is this an actual thing? Orloj. Wikipedia. Prague Astronomical Clock. Okay, Wikipedia. So, oh wow, that does look pretty snazzy, actually. All lodge is mounted on the southern wall of Old Town Hall in the Old Town Square. The clock mechanism has three main components. The astronomical dial, representing the position of the sun and the moon in the sky and displaying various astronomical details. Catholic saints stand on either side of the clock, yeah, whatever. Apostle figures, nope. An hourly show of moving apostle figures and other sculptures, notably a figure of a skeleton that represents death, striking the time, and a calendar dial with medallions representing the months. Okay. I've never been to Prague, so I've never seen this. I don't think I've even heard of this, but this looks like something that's on like the intros of Doctor Who or something, during the initial montage, the Peter Capaldi's era. That does look pretty snazzy, actually. Yeah, at some point I do actually want to visit Prague. I think my sister-in-law's been there a few times. The problem is they like to go to Prague and all these places, like they're in Croatia at the moment, but they like to go in the middle of July. That's when it costs loads. That's when you get all the tourists. That's when it's blinding hot. I want to go to Prague and Croatia and stuff like that, but I want to go in cooler months. Go in the winter. Go in spring when you don't have so many people and the temperature's a lot nicer. But Prague is on my list of places I would like to, visit for a city break or something. I mean, how much is there to do in Prague? I don't know. You tell me. Anybody who lives in Prague or has travelled to Prague, tell me if there's enough there to satisfy a week. Or is it better to do a long weekend or something like that? But that's a pretty snazzy clock, I'll give it that. So, okay, so what's the game about then? You got to build it, presumably. I don't recognise these designers or even the publisher, so this is going to be a very new one. Okay, so you take on the role of the master builder, competing to lead by adding the legendary and majestic calendar to the ancient clock. Okay, so you assemble the gear, spheres, and zodiac signs, perform actions in addition to hiring assistants, construct. Okay, let's have a look at the pictures. Okay, so that looks like a player board. Components look sort of basic, but it could be just prototype form. Artwork, I don't know. I don't know about the artwork, although it is colourful. I mean, it does look colourful and pretty, and it definitely looks very mechanical in its operation. Here's a track here, here's a levelling thing here. But, I'm intrigued. It's got a certain style to it. The cover is definitely pretty striking. I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of the art style, I must admit. Although I do admit that cover is pretty stonking, actually. I think that is pretty cool. It's a very cool cover. But I don't really know much about his mechanisms, although this does look quite cool with this thing. So maybe, does it spin round? Is it a bit like Zolkin, where it spins round and then it turns this one as well, and that affects what actions you can do and stuff? Because that'd be cool. I'd be down for a sort of Zolkin remake. Or is it just, or does it not rotate the other, or do these not rotate at all? It'd be a shame if they don't rotate at all, but I'm curious. Is there any picture that might give me a clue as to whether they do rotate or not? Let's see, what position is that in? That 12 is there, that 12 is there, so that doesn't really tell me much. Okay, but I'm intrigued. I'm not sure. I'm surprised this is getting so many thumbs, put it that way. This was like 4th or 5th on the list, and I don't even recognize any, thing about it. I had to Wikipedia what the clock was. I don't know how well everybody else is clued up in the world on clocks. But, okay. Heavyweight, 2 hours, 1 to 4... Okay, I am intrigued. Not excited, but I'm intrigued. And you learn something new every day. Okay, where are we up to? We're up to 57 minutes. Okay, so that's maybe we'll just do this page. The hottest thumbs here. Maybe in another episode I might talking about more. Fayer's Swamp. Helga Ostertag, Ansem Ostertag. I don't know anything about this. Fayer's Swamp. Publisher Fractal Jugos, and who published this? Fractal Jugos Cranio Creation, so it could be a Cranio Creation game. At least that's the main people I know. Here's Swamp. So you're a clan of swamp dwellers, aiming to be the most prosperous in the area. You must adapt to your surroundings by finding the best fishing and settlement spots, choose the right training partners, 4 rounds, 3 phases, move your boats. These include actions. Some actions don't require moving through the swamp. Nothing here is screaming out anything like new or innovative. Looks fairly straightforward, although the moving across the sea and the art's quite cool. I quite like this art style they're using there. What are they supposed to be? Crocodiles? Is that supposed to be a tribesman or a crocodile? I'm not entirely sure. And those are definitely ships, or they're sharks that have managed to find themselves transportation. Okay, this looks interesting. I'm intrigued, but I quite like this art style for it. I think it suits it quite well. But is this a fantastical world or is this a normal world? I get the impression it's fantastical. Who knows? But okay, interesting. I'm surprised it's heavily thumbed though. I mean, that's the the thumbs on this don't make a huge amount of sense. I mean, yeah, the expansion to one of the best games of 2024. Of course, this one's going to be heavily thumbed. A game made by the designers of Revive where everybody went ape over. I mean, of course, that was going to get a lot of thumbs. But these two in particular, I'm kind of surprised. The Covenant, Devier Games. Devier Games, I mean, Devier Games really need to make less games in a year, because then they might actually put out some belters rather than just a bunch of meh games. Although I gotta admit, Cities was pretty good. You know, Cities is definitely my favourite one. I've played from them in a while. So you assign dwarfs to different tasks that will allow you to explore the ancient halls, drive out their enemies, dig into the mountain, defeat the enemies, build buildings. There's no real pictures or anything like that, so it's just another Devier game, which I suspect that's all you need in order to make everybody go ape. Don't recognize the designers, can't really say much more about it. It's a Devier game, but because Devier games mostly just make meh games for me, it never gets me excited, and I never get review copies of any Devier games, so this will have to be something I just buy. Okay. Well, of course, here we go, Sanctuary, or Artengarten, or whatever they're going to call it for the German edition. But yes, a spin-off of Art Nova, Referral Spiel making it. Of course, I am going to beeline for this. I mean, it would be nice to get a review copy of this, but it doesn't tend to happen with Referral Spiel, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, how long have I talked praise about Art Nova? You'd think that would earn me at least a contact number. But suffice to say, you don't do these sort of things to get contacts. You know, you talk good about a game if it's good. You talk bad about a game if it's bad. You do it because you're trying to give an honest opinion. You don't do it to get rewards for it. That's the wrong way of doing things. But, you know, I'll certainly be grabbing a copy of this one. I mean, I don't like the fact that it says re-implements Art Nova, because it's not re-implementing it. It definitely sounds from the mechanics like a totally different game. I mean, although it is using the conveyor belt mechanism. So each player has a set of 4 action cards to manage their gameplay, and the power of an action is determined by the slot the card currently occupies. So it's using the conveyor belt mechanism that I adore from Art Nova and Civilization: A New Dawn. But there's only 4 slots. You're using tiles to build your zoo, and it'll do various things. I mean, it's using the same artwork and imagery from Art Nova, and you've got these pretty big tiles. I saw it on the table. It did look pretty interesting, actually. But, you know, was it based on its predecessor, but modifies and simplifies many of the mechanisms of the game in an elegant and surprising manner. Your goal is to find the best way to puzzle together your animals, la 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 la. So, yeah, you're building up a zoo from a bunch of 135 unique tiles. Will this be any good? I hope so. I mean, 40 to 100 minutes, 1 to 5 players. I'm going to imagine that 5 players is a lie and just there for marketing purposes. So let's just assume 1 to 4. I mean, it says community 1 to 4. You know, they're waking up to this rubbish as well. But I'm hoping this will be a good game. I don't know if it will, but I don't think it's going to suddenly make Art Nova obsolete. I think it will just be a nice spin-off, because the actions, yes, they're using the conveyor belt action for the cards or the action cards, but that's it. And that mechanism is fantastic, but that's not the whole game. So I'm hoping that this will be a good, fun side game to it. A bit like how Black Forest and Glass Road can coexist. I think Art Nova and Sanctuary could easily coexist. But I'm definitely going to make a beeline for it, because I definitely want to find out. Will I be impressed, or will I be disappointed? We shall see. Okay. Coming of Age. Lujanova games. They don't normally get a lot of high thumbs, but I am curious. Okay. Whoa, wow, this looks pretty. Start the game as a child, and then you have a limited set of interests and skills that will determine your development. During this time, your parents' help will help. As the years go by, you grow and acquire new interests, gain more independence, and with it, access to new experiences. Okay, so using the dice management mechanism, visit locations, acquire experiences that modulate various aspects of your personality. Right, so this is giving me a very Pursuit to Happiness vibe here, but with a slightly different take on it. I'm down for that kind of theme. I think that theme's really cool. Artwork is fine. The cover is quite interesting. Danny Garcia, Eduval. Oh, Eduval's artwork. Okay, Eduval's does pretty good artwork, actually. This might be a prototype version, or is it the final one? I'm not sure. Looks very mechanical. certainly compared to something like Pursuit of Happiness, and Pursuit of Happiness might have been a bit cleaner to look at, but this does look cutesy. It does look quite fun. I mean, are you able to like visit friends' house and go to the basketball court to get to like, you know, sporty points? You got a little bus for going to school and stuff. I mean, this does look quite fun. I don't know much about his mechanisms, but the theme alone, as well as how nice it looks, but certainly that theme has definitely perked my interest. You know, Ludenover's games are a little hit and miss with me. Some of them I don't mind, some of them I'm not a fan of, but yeah, that one does seem pretty cool. Oh yeah, 40 to 80 minutes, 1 to 4 players, so yeah, to play this as a solo would be quite cool. The dice rolling, is this going to be mostly a luck fest though, is kind of the maybe the worry when it says dice rolling as a mechanism, but yeah, you know what? I love Pursuit of Happiness. I'm down for this as a theme. Theme alone, this is going to be quite high up my list. Okay. How many have we got more on this page? Way too many for me to talk about, so we're going to have to skim a few of these. Baghdad. Well, I mentioned it briefly. It's a pretty dry game from Ali Cat. You basically have, you know, these different segments where you can do all these like sort of mini games for points. The central mechanism has you moving these guys around here, picking up tiles and characters that are useful to upgrade your skills in other areas. But, you know, people are getting in your way, you know, stepping on your toes and stuff. But the main thing I kind of like, I mean, this is kind of standard Euro fare, but it's simple, it's light, it's speedy and quick. But I quite like your personal player board thing, because the personal player board basically has, see, why don't people take pictures of these things? Right, so the tokens that you grab allow you to upgrade your player boards, and if you get them in certain areas, you can get bonuses. That's quite fulfilling. But the card system, you always end up with a new card every round. You have some at the start, and then you always get a new one. And basically, the symbols at the top give you, like, power for the actions that you're doing, but it works on a conveyor belt. And then you've got some that score you points when they're at the end of the game, or when they fall off, or some that give you other bonuses when they fall off. It depends on the card. But I love that conveyor belt system from Viscounts with these cards. This is what the focus of the game is, how you're doing your actions. And I enjoy that aspect. And the rest of the game I thought was pretty smooth, pretty cool. So, you know, it's a dry, light Euro. I do like these every now and again if the mechanisms are interesting, or if it's nice, smooth and streamlined so that I can have a good amount of variety, decent amount of options, but without feeling bogged down in unnecessary complexity. And I like complex games. I've got plenty of complex games on my shelf. You can see some of them in my videos behind me. And I have stuff like Mind Clash games in a couple of those. I have, you know, a fair amount of heavy games in my collection. I hate it when people think I don't play heavy games. But I do like a nice, light, streamlined game where it's like plenty of options, decent amount of thinking, but not bogged down in bloat. This one didn't feel bloated. So I would be interested to look at this. I feel pretty confident this will be one I'll end up reviewing. Okay. Echoes of Time. I got no idea what this is. Simone Luciani. I'm not a big fan of Simone Luciani's games. In fact, some of his games I absolutely detest. I mean, if I go to the designer, I mean, he's a nice guy, I'm sure, but I like Zolkin. Meh. Marco Polo. Council of Four. Meh. Grand Austria Hotel. Fine if you play it with less than 3 players. Lorenzo e Magnifico. Absolutely detest. Newton. Like quite a bit. Marco Polo 2. Okay. Barrage. Hate. Golem. Pretty like. It's on my shelf. Tarleton. Meh. Kind of dull. Darwin's Journey. Not a fan of. And Nuke, never played it. Rats of Wistar, fine, but nothing particular. I thought it was a bit boring and very punishing. And Nucleum, okay. You know, okay. It's better than Brass anyway. So, yeah, there isn't... I mean, Golem's probably my favourite game on that. Actually, no, I don't know. Maybe Newton. Newton followed by Golem is probably my order of, like, games I like. But then the rest of them are kind of meh, or I hate them. So, yeah, no offense to the guy. I'm just not a fan of his style of games. That being said, what's this one? 2 to 4 players, 30 to 60 minutes. This is a light game from him. It's not like him to do a light game. Create the best equipped fellowship of characters from different factions to conquer the sources of power. Try to control and modify the flow of time to outshine your opponents. More than 100 cards with unique effects that you will use to build a new deck each game, and a sliding tile system guides you in managing the time you need for your cards to be usable while simultaneously controlling the activation rhythm of their effects. Okay, I'm intrigued. Oh, I see. So, oh, God, blimey, this artwork looks nice. Oh, wow. Oh, God, yeah, that is pretty. I approve of that art. Okay, so it's got some interesting little sounding mechanisms. It looks gorgeous. It's always about anthropomorphic animals, but to be honest, these do look pretty sweet, actually. Unique cards. Okay, I've never heard of this one. I haven't played it, but I am intrigued. A 30 to 60 minute game from this guy. I mean, nice that he's actually going to branch off and play some lighter games. But, okay. Who's the artist, actually? Giovanni Calò. What else have you done? This looks really nice. Digital Illustrator. Digital Illustrator? Does that mean AI? I mean, the picture suggests it's not. I don't think that's AI art. It's just digital art, which is fine. I like digital art as well. Okay, well, as long as it's not AI art, then that's fine. But it does look very nice. Okay, I'm intrigued by this one. I would definitely want to give this a look. Ooh, okay. There's a new resource, new era of an underwater cities expansion. I didn't realize this was going to get any more content. Okay. Let's see. Second expansion, data era, can also be combined with the first one, new discoveries. So you get a resource type, data disks. Data disks provide additional actions along with new buildings called data centers and a new city type, information cities. New upgraded components. New components can be used with the base game and a new discoveries expansion. So, okay, fully integrated. Hopefully this isn't overpriced. I can't really see much from the pictures in terms of this new one. Is that what the blue domes are? Blue domes are information centers. Okay, so not much to show for it, but yeah, I like Underwater Cities. It's on my shelf. I like this game a lot. It's one of my... I don't tend to go mad for Vladimir Suhi games, but Underwater Cities and Pulsar 2849 are the two that I give praise to. So, yeah, I will definitely look this one up. Might have to maybe control copy that link, actually, because I think some friends of mine who like Underwater Cities would be very interested to know that this is a thing. Okay. How many more? Oh, God, my throat. I think I'm going to have to skim past a few. So what have we got? White Castle White Castle Duel. Whatever. I mean, White Castle was fine, but I got bored with it, and I'm not that interested if you're going to just make dual versions. This I am sort of interested in. The Castle combo is a really good filler. I mean, really good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It is a solid filler, and it's still on my shelf, and it always works. I'm just a bit worried about how you can expand it, and how much is it going to be? Because look at it, was it? So it's got 12 new cards and a new rule. Padlocks allow players to delay some card effects until a later turn. Okay, I mean, that sounds pretty cool. But only 12 cards. I mean, this is a very small expansion. And, I mean, yeah, the Outlaws could be really cool, but is it only these 12 cards that give you the padlock abilities? In which case, this is an expansion that's not going to really add that much to the game. But then I was kind of worried that you would make it too complicated, or that it wouldn't, dilute the deck or something. So, okay. I mean, I'm interested in more content for this, but it is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Any of these I want to talk about? Galactic Cruise, obviously, and Lufia, already know. Not interested in Nippon. Ants, this looks like a sequel to Rats or Wistar or whatever, so not particularly interested. March of the Ants I'm interested in, from Weird City Games. This one, actually, let's see. Ooh, Cascadia Alpine Lakes. This is like the spin-off ones. All right, we're going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about this one. And we'll talk about... Well, we won't talk about it. We'll just say why I don't like it. I mean, I haven't played it in ages. But, I mean, the theme is already something I don't care about. You know, it's an industrial revolution era of Japan. Not that interested. Build industries, factories, railroads. You know, it's basically the Snorefest of themes. But this is a new version of it. Paul Grogan cannot shut up about it. He loves this game. I think he even taught me it a long time ago, like the original version. I like the artwork. I mean, that picture is very nice. I don't think there's much else to show for it. Oh, yeah, there it is. But the board looks ugly. The player boards don't look that particularly interesting. It's a very dry mechanical game. It's about a Snorefest of a theme. I didn't hate it when I played it before. I did find it a bit punishing in times, but I don't know. I just found it boring. it's a theme I don't like. It's nothing new in the mechanics. It's another Euro game. It's another Euro game about industries and railroads. You just change the country of origin, basically. That's all I can really say about it. It just didn't impress me at all. So I don't hate it. I'd have to play it again now, maybe with a new mindset to see if I would like this new version. But Nippon would be one that if somebody wants to play it and it's the option on the table, I will sit down and play it to try it. But I've got no interest in hunting this one down. So, yeah. Cascadia Alpine Lake. So, a stand-up follow-up to Cascadia, which is already probably one of the best gateway games in existence. What have we got here? So, turns are simple. Habitat and scoring cards. Unique combinations of scoring. So, is this just basically a new... Players continue the journey, draft new double hexagon habitat tiles and unique new wildlife tokens to build out and up. So it's choose a habitat tile and wildlife pair. This time, each habitat tile is a double hexagon and tiles can be stacked. Okay, so this one is just making it a little bit harder, I guess. Like it's a slightly more gamery one, as opposed to Life of the Amazonia, which I got on my shelf. Okay, I mean... I'm down for another Cascadia game, and I'm glad it's a standalone, not an expansion, because I didn't particularly like the expansion for the original Cascadia. So, yeah, I'm down for this. Okay, I'll hunt this one down. But I would like to also try this one, and I reckon I should be getting a review copy of this one. I remember reviewing Leaf and, was it Evergreen from Tim Eisner and Weird City Games, so I feel like I'd probably be getting a look at this one as well. Didn't want to preview it, obviously, when it was on Kickstarter, because, you know me, not Kickstarter. But this one I would like to try, because it's re-implementing, like, an older, like, version of it. But the theme is already quite cool. I mean, you're basically clashing with opponents. It's an area control game, and it's quite in your face. So, it's not my first genre of a game that I would typically go for. But when you've got a good theme with this sort of game... it does make it more interesting to me. You know, like, oh yes, we're going to area control for building railroads. Like I give a toss. But, you know, for this one, ants. I mean, this one, was it? Yeah, so... Deep beneath the meadow grass is the Queenster. Soldiers venture forth, battling centipedes while clashing with opposing colonies for territory. Workers dig a network of tunnels in search for food. Larvae hatch. And the young colonies rapidly evolve into a multitude of new forms. So you've got new artwork, new graphic design, updated mechanics, wooden meeples, same quick play time that gives a 4x feel in under 90 minutes. That sounds pretty cool, although that is a bold statement to make, and a lot of people don't succeed with this. But it does look cool. I mean, I like the idea. I mean, I can deal with ants, as long as it's not spiders. I'm fine with ants, although... dealing with ants at home, that's a bigger problem. But you really got to be wary of those in the summer. But the artwork's quite cool. And I like this idea that not only are you doing like the area control bit with the like going out and getting food and stuff, but I like this idea that you, almost a bit like Evolution, you basically get 3 aspects of your ant, which I think this is like the starting one or something, and they give you like abilities or boosts for your ant. But as the game goes on, you can actually like tailor it, so it kind of makes them look a bit weird from a picture perspective. So there's the theme aspect, a bit odd, but you basically create your own version of ants with their own little asymmetric abilities. That's really cool, and it doesn't take up too much space on the board. Simple rules. I'm looking forward to trying this. I really want to try this and see if it's any good. I never played the old version. People have told me it was pretty solid. You know, I think Weird City does put out some pretty nice stuff. I mean, Evergreen was fine. I kind of prefer the previous Canopy that it's based on. I liked Leaf. I thought Leaf was a surprisingly good gateway game. What else have I done from them? I've done other stuff from them as well. I mean, Canopy was already a really solid game. But yeah, I'm really interested to look at March of the Ants, so I will hopefully be able to review this one properly. Right, that's it. This is a long enough episode. My throat is going. I am tired. And I got stuff to do today. So yeah, that's it from me. Long episode to make up for all the lack of episodes in the last few weeks, an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that little brief preview of the Essen list. I mean, there's some interesting games there. I think if that top page is the starting point, if it carries on at that rate, this could be an Essen where I look forward to a lot more games than previous Essens. Because previous Essens, I barely look forward to anything. But there's a few titles I'm like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I mean, I was racking up the totals. Now, Maybe it's just the top 2 thumbed pages that happens, and then I find out everything else is garbage. But yeah, I mean, that was a good start. And obviously, Manorcon, great con, had fun, will be there next year. By all means, you know, if you want to see me there again next year, then come along, we'll play some games, it'll be good fun. But yeah, I was impressed. So, all in all, generally a quite cheerful episode overall. So that's it for me. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple episode. Next one probably will be the Vantage review when I get round to editing it. It'll probably be middle of the week, probably Wednesday, Thursday time. At the earliest, I'll be able to get it done because I don't think I'll have time to edit it today. And Monday and Tuesday tend to be quite busy. So it'll probably be Wednesday. Well, actually, maybe Tuesday because I think I'm working from home. So I can finish work a bit. I can start work early, finish early, and do some editing. We'll see, but middle of the week I hope to get Vantage done, and then Pagola will be quite quick afterwards, and then we'll see when I can do the Art Nova thing, maybe next weekend or something like that. So yeah, by all means, there's some cool stuff to look forward to. Until next time, take care, love you all, thanks to the Patrons for helping me keep this channel going, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.